Hey everyone, it's me. Good to see you again. I'm back for another office hours with How to Write for a Living. If you're joining me today as a subscriber or someone who just come across me on Substack on the app, it's great to see you. My name is David. I'm from Northern Ireland. I am the editor, writer, creator of How to Write for a Living, the Solopreneur Stack, and my other publication, which is now called David McElroy is Still Talking, and I've changed it to that recently because I want to basically talk about a lot of stuff like movies and books and TV shows and all things like that. So, if you've noticed that change on my publication, that's why that's happened. Um, Try, great to see you. Hope you said your name right. Appreciate you and your words. If you are joining me here today for this brief office hours that I'm going to do, please feel free to ask a question while I'm here. I'm going to be here for maybe 15 or 20 minutes live. Any tips on how to grow on Substack? I'm going to talk about that very soon. So yeah, keep those questions coming. I'll try and come back to them as I go through this. I'll scroll back through the comments later. But yes, I'll be here for the next few minutes. So if you do have any questions about Substack, about writing, about book promotion, about anything like that, feel free to pop them into the chat. Or even if you just have any questions for me personally about anything that I'm up to, again, feel free to ask those questions and make sure to subscribe over the top as we go through this today. So thanks for joining me. I want to start off just with a quick update about what's been happening over the last week, I guess, for me. I didn't do an office hours last week around this time because, excuse me, my wife and I were getting ready to go on holiday, and we're just back from that. So we spent the last 6 days over in Austria, which was incredible, and we've never been there before. So that was a really cool holiday for us. We got to meet some friends in real life. So we got to meet Philip Hofmacher and Sinem Gunel. I hope you said your name right, Sinem, in real life, which is really, really cool because I've obviously been connected with those guys here on Substack for a while. So it was awesome to meet them in real life and have dinner with them and hang out in Vienna for a few hours. So really appreciate that time with those guys. But yeah, Austria is incredible. It's a beautiful, beautiful country. My wife Christine and I visited Vienna, Hallstatt, and Salzburg, and we just took trains across the country, and it was just incredible. Beautiful, beautiful place. Everything in Austria is clean and efficient and modern, and the landscape is just incredible. So if you're from Austria, make sure you say hello in this chat. If you've been to Austria, tell me where you've been to in the country. If you plan on going there, definitely go. So yeah, that's where I've been in the last few days. That's why I maybe haven't been on Substack as much as usual. But yeah, highly, highly recommend Austria. Um, my book promotion series is still going on Substack. So I sent an email about that today, and there's a second part going out tomorrow for paid subscribers. So make sure to check that out. Stephen, I'm good, man. Thanks very much. Make sure to check that out in your email, in your inbox, or on my publication. There's a few more parts of that series coming up soon. So if you have a book that's already out, or you're going to release a book, or you're thinking about how you're going to promote a book further down the line that you're writing right now, that series is really helpful, which is going to break down some real simple, practical tips on how to go about doing that based on things I've done myself as well. That's helped me. So definitely check that out. And paid subscribers get access to all of it and everything in my content library as well. So check that out. And also one more thing to quickly update you on. If you haven't got it yet, make sure to try and grab a copy of my Substack quick fire launch kit, which is on Gumroad. You can find it in the most recent post and on my publication as well. But it's a really useful little 10 template pack that'll help you get started on Substack. It just includes everything like your about page, your emails, your welcome emails that will go out, templates for your posts, all that sort of stuff. It's just to help you get started. If you're not sure how to flesh out your publication when you're first starting off on Substack, it'll help get you going, help get you off the ground, and it's $20, so you can grab that on Gumroad at any point. If you want to check that out, that's my Substack quickfire launch kit. Okay, I'm gonna check a few comments here real quick before I go any further. Let me just scroll back. Bear with me. You can see I'm wearing my Kansas City Chiefs cap again because they actually managed to win a game, which is really cool. We missed it, of course, because we were on holiday at the time, unfortunately. Um, right, let's see. Thanks for joining me, guys. Everybody who is here right now, it's really cool to have you. Um, Chirag, I'll come back to your question in a second. Debbie said, "How do I get Substack posts to single space?" I don't think you can, Debbie. I think that's just the format of the platform. It's just always going to revert to that whenever you paste things in there or write things into Substack. So unfortunately, I don't think you can change it to single space. That's just the format on the website. Um, Chirag, again, hope I'm saying your name right, said, "Can Substack replace 9 to 5?" It probably can, yeah. I think a Substack ecosystem of a few different components probably could replace your 9 to 5. Probably depends where you live in the world and what your the cost of living is where you are. That would probably play into that scenario. But it probably can replace it, but probably not. I would say just on paid subscriptions alone. It depends maybe what you're writing about, but I think in 2025 and beyond, your Substack publication should have a few different components working in tandem with each other. So it can replace it probably, but not just as a single model on its own. Let's see. Jocelyn, I was in Vienna for Christmas market last December. There's a palace in every corner, so beautiful. Yes, there is very much a palace in every corner. It is an incredible place, and we loved it. We're definitely going to go back again at some point because we didn't see half of it, and because we spent most of the time in Vienna Zoo, which is unbelievable as well. I absolutely love that. I love animals. Okay, so again, if you're joining me during the course of this live, if you have any questions, just pop them into the comments as I go along about things that I'm saying or just other questions in general. Feel free to pop them in there. So the reason I want to talk very briefly today in this office hour session about Substack growth is because I've seen a few people on Substack talking about it recently. Uh, People have kind of been um, sharing their thoughts on how things have gone with their publications over the last few months and in 2025 in general. I've experienced a lot of change in terms of the growth for my publications on Substack as well. Um, just to quickly explain where I was coming from, I started on Substack in 2023 in the summer, and I started taking it seriously around December 2023. When I mean taking it seriously, I mean I started posting on it regularly and using notes and really focused on it as my main platform. So my growth at the start was pretty flat for the first few months. I started off with maybe about 50 subscribers that I brought from somewhere else, and I maybe gained maybe a couple of hundred throughout the course of the first few months I was on the platform. So it was pretty slow at the start. And if you're in that place, don't worry. If your growth is slow at the start and you're not really seeing an awful lot happening, and don't panic. That's just pretty normal. And just be patient with it and just take your time. Um, at this point, I have 30,000 plus subscribers across 3 publications. And again, it's taken a couple of years to get to that point for me. And in that time, I've experienced periods of growth that have been on the peaks, I guess, and I've experienced periods of growth that have been in the valleys, where there's times when it feels as if my growth is going to exponentially increase, and my publications audience is growing really fast. And there's other times when it feels as if it's hardly growing at all, and I feel like I'm almost going backwards. And I'm saying that from someone who is a bestseller on Substack and who's been on here for a couple of years and has a 30,000 plus audience base. So just so you understand that even people who have bigger audiences do go through these ups and downs on the platform. For instance, just to kind of put this into perspective, I think, sorry again, my voice is kind of going. Around sort of April, May, June kind of time this year, I was picking up maybe 2.5 to 3,000 subscribers a month. So my growth was uh pretty diagonal at that point, and it was great. And I was thinking, great, I'm gonna if this keeps going, my audience is gonna be huge by the end of 2025. And then basically from the 1st of July, everything just dropped off a cliff for me. So it was growing really fast, and then at the start of July, it just kind of not quite plateaued, but I'd say my growth cut by about 70% overnight. I think Substack maybe changed an algorithm aspect or something in that time, but that was pretty shocking, I guess, for me because I was experiencing pretty steady growth, growth that felt really exciting, and I could see my audience was going to grow to a really good size, and then overnight it just cut off, like I've been chopped off at the knees, and it was kind of scary because I was wondering, did I do something? Did I send out a post and Substack didn't like it, and they're sort of like punishing me for that, or have the stuff I'm writing just not great anymore, or whatever, or people sick of me on the platform. Maybe some of them are, but um, I think it just sort of reiterated to me at that point that your growth can just change overnight. And there was a period before that, a few months before that, maybe at the end of 2024, when my growth also kind of plateaued. I think maybe for October, November, maybe into December in 2024, and it really slowed down at that point as well. So again, if you've experienced this, if you've been seeing steady growth on your publication, and then you feel like you've dropped off a cliff like I did, don't panic, because everything kind of moves in waves. You'll go through periods where things are very, very slow, things feel like they're almost in decline, and then other periods where things feel like they're growing really, really fast, and it's really exciting. So the best thing you can do in those periods is to keep going, and just to be consistent, is just to relax, just keep doing the things that you're doing, and not worry too much about what's happening with your audience size. Um, I'm going to try and pronounce this. What Yalan reports. It's maybe not right, but you said, was there a catalyst to that jump in subscribers? And this is the thing. I don't think there was a particular catalyst. I was literally just doing what I'd always done. I was posting on notes every day. I had a bunch of other publications that were recommending mine. I was posting content in a regular cadence that my audience were used to. There was no particular thing that I did, I don't think, in that period that really changed it. Maybe the only thing that had an impact on my growth at the time was that Substack had recently rolled out the live function. I'm glad I got that close enough to your name there, what Yalan. um, I think Substack had recently rolled out the live function, and I was doing a lot of lives with people on the platform, like maybe every week, because maybe doing at least a couple of lives. And I think because I was using a new function on the platform, maybe Substack was essentially rewarding me for that by maybe driving more growth to my publication. I don't know for sure, but that's the only thing I can think of that might have been a catalyst for that increasing growth at the time. Um, but what I want to just say is you will go through those up and down periods on the platform. There'll be times when things feel great and times when things don't feel great. The thing that you need to do is just focus on what you can actually control going forward on Substack. So focus on how often you post, focus on the quality of the stuff that you write in your posts and in your notes. Focus on the connections you make in terms of recommendations and just the relationships that you cultivate on the platform. Again, it was amazing for me personally to meet people in real life who I'd met through Substack and become friends with through Substack, and then meet them in real life and have dinner with them and just hang out with them for a few hours. Like, that was an incredible moment for us, and I think it shows the power of platforms like Substack for meeting actual other human beings who actually exist in real life, in the flesh. So the relationships and the friendships that you nurture and that spark on Substack can someday become a thing where you actually meet those people in real life, and that's very, very cool. So focus on those relationships, focus on the fact you're talking to real people, you're writing for real people in your audience. Focus on how often you post to those people, focus on what you write on notes and in your articles, and try not to focus too much on how fast or slow your audience is growing, because honestly, you really can't control it. It is based on an algorithm. I know that Substack, in terms of algorithms, it's not as um dogmatic as maybe like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram might be. I think it will kind of become that way eventually, because every platform does eventually go that direction. But even Substack, in terms of notes and things like that, is definitely dictated by an algorithm, and they can change that algorithm overnight. If I was capable of snapping my fingers, which I can't do, I would do that right now. They would change it overnight, and that can impact the size of your audience, that can impact your growth, that can impact how much visibility your posts get. So don't focus on that. Focus on the things that do make a difference, like how often you post on notes, the relationships you cultivate through recommendations and things like that. And focus on building your brand and your connection with your audience. Focus on developing how you connect with your audience in terms of what you present about yourself. So talk about yourself, talk about the things you're doing. You're not a robot. You're not here to just feed information into the machine. You're here to be a human in an online space. And the best way to connect with other people is to tell them about the things that you're going through. Tell them about the good things, like meeting friends for the first time in real life who you met on Substack. Tell them about the bad things, that have been going on as well, like the things you're struggling with, the things you're finding difficult, because everybody will be able to. There's always going to be somebody in your sphere, in your audience base, who'll be able to connect with the things that you're going through, and the more, uh, the deeper you can make those connections, the more likely it is people will trust you. And if you've got an audience that trusts you and what you put out there into the world, it's easier to build a loyal base. And if you want to like offer a paid tier, if you want to offer coaching or paid products, and people who trust you are going to buy those things as opposed to people who just come across you for the first time. You want to build that trust. So be open and honest about yourself and the things you're going through, the good and the bad, as much as possible. Um, I'm just going to quickly look at a couple of comments here before I go any further. So, hi David, I write about football, soccer. Should my notes be general or specific to my niche? I think a couple of different options there. I think be specific to your niche, and be general as well about yourself. I think a good rule is to every day post something that's specific to your niche, in notes. So post something about soccer at least once a day, and then don't be afraid to post things that are outside of your niche, outside of your category as well. If you're going through stuff, if you've experienced things, good or bad, if you just have something to say, if you just want to share something personally about yourself, about your life, don't feel like you can't do that either. It doesn't always have to be about your niche. You're more than just your niche. You're a human being, and connect with other people on a platform as a human being, and nothing is going to grow audience trust faster than that. So yeah, I will always want to hear about soccer. I love football as well, NFL and soccer. So I always want to hear about that kind of stuff. So post about everything that you're interested in on the platform, including things that are within your niche as well. Um, Substack doesn't owe us a living. It offers us something far more valuable: a space to live our writing. Too many treat the platform like payroll, but writing isn't a job you apply for. It's a journey you commit to. The art must come before the audience. Yes, I agree, very much so. It doesn't owe us anything, and yeah, your writing it is an art. You're creating art whenever you're on Substack, whenever you're writing books, whenever you're on social media. It's a form of art in some way, because you're creating something. So don't lose sight of that in the midst of trying to build an audience and grow your income as well. Um, so I'm just going to wrap this up now because I've been on for nearly 20 minutes. If anyone has any more questions, really quick for the end of this office hour session, feel free to just post it now into the chat. Um, I'm just going to quickly tell you about a couple of things. I'm going to keep plugging my books all the time, just in case you haven't heard about it. So, this is the book that I've recently released. It's called Empress of Nim. It is the second book in my young adult fantasy series called The Book of Uland. And if you have a teenager in your house, or if you like reading things like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, um, Shadow and Bone, that sort of stuff, the Chronicles of Narnia, you will like these books in this series. This is the first book, The Soulburn Talisman, and this is the second one, Empress of Nim. So they're both available now anywhere you buy books, Amazon, uh, Barnes and Noble, Waterstones, anything like that. You can get them directly from me as well. If you want a signed copy, you can just ask me about that. But definitely check those out if you like young adult fantasy series, because I love writing them. I'm going to write a bunch more books in this series, so I'd love it if you could buy them and check them out. And another one of my books as well is on the shelf behind me, The Substitute, which is my adult horror novel. I've got another adult horror novel coming out in a couple of months' time, so definitely check those out if you're interested in that kind of stuff. And I just finished reading this one, so this is Leviathan Wakes, which the TV show The Expanse is based on, or it's the first book in the series anyway. I'm a super slow reader. I don't know about you guys, but I can write fast, but I'm a very, very slow reader. And this book, which is about 600 or so pages, has taken me the guts of the year to read it, or to read it. So I've loved it though. It's been absolutely brilliant. I finished it on holiday. It's a fantastic book. It's really kind of reignited my love for sci-fi in terms of reading it. So I'm actually going to go back and watch The Expanse again after reading that book, and then read the next one in the series pretty soon. And before that, I want to read another fantasy book. So if anyone has any recommendations for fantasy novels, one that you've read in the past that you loved, feel free to pop those into the comments as well, because I'd love to read more fantasy novels as well very, very soon. Um, And quickly, just to finish up, the next post in my series about book promotion is going to be out tomorrow. So check that out. It's the second part to the one that was released today. It's for paid subscribers only, but it's going to break down some really, really valuable stuff about book promotion. So if you have a book out now, if you've got a book coming out soon, or you want to just learn how to do it for future reference, um, make sure you upgrade to my paid tier so you can read that book, or you can read that post, should I say, when it comes out tomorrow. But thanks very much for joining me, guys. Really cool to have nearly 100 people here for this brief office hour session. I'll be back again next week. I will share this on YouTube as well, so you can watch it back later. And make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel too whenever you're there. But it's great to have you here. Thanks so much for joining me. It's really cool to be back on Substack again after a week off, and really cool to connect with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this brief office hour session. So thanks for your time. Thanks for being here. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye.